Welcome to the Long Free Ride Christmas Edition 2023. We are on our way to Cologne in Germany from Brighton in the UK, and we are spending 2 days at Christmas markets, and I'm really excited. I am, however, travelling with the Grinch.
Yes. I've got this hat on as well, makes me look like I've got 4 ears. But 3 blokes laugh at me already on the road as they go past.
He's my little Christmas elf.
This is coming off in a minute. I tell you, it's already, it's too tight. It's doing my head in. It's giving me a headache already.
There's only one thing creating a headache today. Anyway, I am a little bit excited. Never thought this day would come. John isn't known for his excitement, let's say, about Christmas. So it's very, very unusual for us to be going to a Christmas market. It's not something we do in the UK, so the fact we're going abroad to do it is making me slightly hyperventilate. I am in my Disney Christmas top, so I am fully prepared. I've got my gift bow earrings on, and we are jingle all the way.
I haven't put the Tesla into Christmas mode yet. You want me to do that later, do you?
I do, or I will press all the buttons to make it happen.
We'll do that when we get to the Channel Tunnel. So yes, our route, as is generally the case when we go to Europe, is to head down to the Channel Tunnel. And then we'll be heading up to Bruges. We've been to Bruges before, to the charger there. There's a nice hotel there as well where we might get some lunch. And then crack on from there to Cologne. I think we've got the charging stop at the Channel Tunnel, then we'll have a charging stop at Bruges, and probably one more after that, and then just the top up so that we're ready to leave Cologne come Thursday. So that's the plan, and we're currently heading up the M23, and we shall see how we make it around the M25. That's always a challenge.
Yeah, we think today's about 400 miles. Well, I don't know what that is in kilometres.
It's more than 400.
Thanks.
I know.
For that. Yeah. Should be motorway driving most of today, and we're hoping that the traffic keeps out of our way, basically. But we'll see how we get on.
We shall see.
And where we're staying in Cologne, we are using another one of the birthday vouchers we got from John's sister. Whoop, whoop. So thank you. But I am a little bit worried because I haven't had the normal sort of expected emails about reminding you of your trip and things. So we'll see.
Are you telling me this is another booking that could have gone wrong?
Possibly.
Now you tell me.
I've got a confirmation number and everything, but I'm used to receiving, it's a week before your trip, are you ready? And trying to upsell you on other experiences and things. And I haven't had any of that. So we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
There were charges free when we arrived at the Le Shuttle terminal, and we had plenty of time to charge as our departure was delayed, and we eventually boarded the train around an hour or so after our booked departure. Having stopped up Bruges on our Norway tour, check out the link above, we knew we'd get a good lunch at the hotel while Elon moved our batteries ions. But I made a rookie error and left my phone in the car, which meant I didn't see the warning that I was about to incur parking charges. These are billed to your Tesla account when you leave your vehicle in a spot once it has charged and is potentially blocking others from charging. The fee amounted to around 10 quid, which is a lot to pay for 20 minutes parking. Hey ho, you live and learn. Yes, we're having to listen to that pleasant sound every time we change lane. And there seem to be so many lane changes.
All needed, darling. All needed lane changes.
Yeah.
I'm loving driving.
How many more miles? Oh, I've got ages, yeah.
Yeah. So about 70 kilometres to my next turn. We've just passed the Brussels exit. Progress is good.
Yes. And we're off to Liège. Liège is our next charger. And that would get us all the way to Cologne if we wanted, but we're probably going to stop just before Cologne just to pick up some charge, so on the way back we don't have to immediately charge on the way out. That's the plan currently. Anyway, come on, Rudolph.
Can I do one more lane change?
Go on then.
Woo!
Never gets old.
Never. We reached the Liège charger in Belgium. It has 16 superchargers and we were able to put in 44 kilowatts of power to the car. We were stationary 28 minutes. Final charging stop of today, Frechen in Germany. It's another 16 stall supercharger and we put in 27 kilowatts and were stationary just for 18 minutes. The hotel we'd chosen in Cologne is actually right on the banks of the River Rhine. To get there, however, not having been there before, we did have some issues navigating to get into the parking, but when we found the right lane and the rush hour traffic permitted, we navigated our way through successfully. As you can see, the hotel has this very impressive glass frontage and beautifully decorated with a Christmas bow when we arrived. So it was a choice based on location, location, location.
We visited 5 of Cologne's 6 Christmas markets during our stay. Here's our top 5. In 5th place is the St. Nicholas Market. This market was a couple of stops away from the hotel on the light rail. It had a good vibe and there seemed to be both families and work groups meeting up for a drink. The stalls had character, but the market as a whole was one of the smaller markets we visited. There were the usual selection of fast food vendors, and if you're at any of the markets, you'll never be that far away from a Glühwein or hot Aperol stall. One of the things it did have, though, which we did not see at other markets, was an area selling proper foodstuffs. When we visited, there were sellers of bread, meat, cheese and vegetables.
In 4th place is the Cathedral Market. Now this might be controversial because lots of people will know of the Cologne Cathedral Christmas Market. So now we found Santa. John, have you got your Christmas spirit?
I've got my Christmas Glühwein.
It's dominated by a huge decorated tree and what they call a sparkling tent of starlight spread out above the square. I have to say our second visit was better than our first due to the live music, lack of rain for once, and of course the hot Aperol drink. However, we found it was quite plastic in appearance. The stands themselves had sort of plastic canopies above them and it sort of lacked atmosphere.
This is called a Handelbrot. It's like a big long loaf. Cheese and bacony stuff inside it, and then they chop it into man-sized chunks. Quite tasty.
The Cathedral Market, however, is really easy to get to because it's less than 5 minutes walk from the train station.
Our number 3 was the Harbour Market. As its name implies, this is on the banks of the Rhine, which is still a busy waterway for commercial shipping. We saw a number of coal and petrochemical barges heading up the river, as well as the impossibly long river cruise boats. This again was a small market, but it had a lot of character. There was also a massive big wheel, and the bars were made to look like pirate ships. There were a number of stalls selling useful goods as well, rather than just the sort of Christmassy products. Michelle spotted a stall selling flamed grilled salmon. Whilst a bit tricky to eat as a street food, it was lovely. Me? Well, I just had sausage in a bun. Oh, and they had a wonderful Christmas angel. Before showing our top 2 markets, we thought we'd take a look at some of the other visitor attractions. Cologne Cathedral is an extremely impressive building. It's the tallest twin-spire church in the world, and those huge towers give it the largest facade of any church. Now a UNESCO heritage site, the cathedral gets over 20,000 visitors a day, making it Germany's most visited landmark. There are tours that let you climb the bell tower, but we didn't have time or the energy for that. The cathedral began construction in 1246, but it was not completed to its original medieval plans until 1880. However, at over 600 years to finish, it's still quicker than getting a pothole filled in Britain. The inside is as impressive and record-breaking as the exterior. As you'd expect, there were many stained glass windows depicting scenes from the Bible, as well as other works of religious art. I was impressed by this wooden scene depicting the crucifixion, which was surrounded by a number of painted panels. Like everything at the cathedral, you could not help but be impressed by the craftsmanship. This religious artefact is said to contain the bones of the 3 wise men and attracts many pilgrims each year. The relic box is the largest in the Western world and was constructed in the late 12th or early 13th century. The basic construction of the shrine is of wood, which has been overlaid by gold and silver with high relief panels depicting prophets and apostles, as well as biblical scenes.
The Lindt Chocolate Museum is on the banks of the Rhine next to the Harbour Christmas Market. You literally walk past the Ferris wheel to access the boat-style buildings. The old part of the building actually used to be the customs office for the harbour. The museum opened in 1993 and has over 600,000 visitors a year, apparently. It claims to be the most frequented cultural institution in Cologne. It was created by Hans Imhoff, a passionate maker of chocolates, not actually a member of the Lindt family from Switzerland. Who knew? Now, we actually started at the Chocolate Grand Café for breakfast. It has a great view of the Rhine River, and John chose their hot chocolate with then crepes with bananas and chocolate sauce. I chose American pancakes, which are much smaller than John's, with smoked salmon, cucumber, radish and herbal quark and a fried egg. Both really thoroughly enjoyed our breakfasts, but more on that later. The museum includes a full production facility, so a complete unit for processing the cocoa beans, roasting, breaking, grinding them down and making them into chocolate. And it also has a chocolate fountain filled with 200 kilograms of liquid chocolate that we got a sample from. The processing includes machines like this filling the moulds, and then shows you how I empty the moulds by twisting them and then flipping them over. The individual chocolates are then lifted onto a conveyor and put into a single line ready to go to the wrapping machine. That wrapping machine was a genius. I wish I knew how it did what it did. I need it for Christmas wrapping. By now, however, John was feeling really rather sick, and so he kept refusing all of the samples rather than what any sensible person would do, and that's pocket the chocolate samples and give them to me later on. Whilst at the museum, you can personalise your own bar of chocolate. So you choose from white, milk or dark chocolate, what ingredients and flavours you want to add. So we made our very own, the Long Free Ride chocolate bar that this lady is doing right now. It's on the scales. So we chose dark chocolate with walnuts and then amaretti biscuit sprinkles. We did have to wait for the bar to set in the fridge, about 45 minutes. The museum also shows all of their figures that they've created over the years. So not just Santa at Christmas, but they're also responsible for the Lindt Easter Bunny. Lindt have preserved their packaging and marketing from previous campaigns. So it's built up this room which has a history of how they've targeted different customer groups and what's attracted them through the decades. You pay for entry to the Chocolate Museum. On a weekday it's €14.50, so that's about £12.60 in sterling. I'd say it was well worth it for the amount of time we spent there, the enjoyment we got, the things we learnt, and generally the whole experience. It was really great. All we need now is to go to the home of Lindt chocolate in Switzerland and become chocolatiers. Maybe that's a future trip. In second place is the Market of Angels. This is located near the large shopping area of Cologne called New Market Square. I love the atmosphere of this Christmas market. There are lots of fairy lights, lots of stars. It's themed on angels, and the trees were surrounding the square really had been decorated to create a very special atmosphere. It had a really social vibe, which was created by lots of locals meeting for a drink after work and getting something to eat. So there was more food and drink stands than there were tourist attraction stalls selling things. It really was my favourite personally, and I put it in first place. But we might have to settle on joint first. Maybe. Who knows? One of the scenes they created depicted the three kings. Very detailed robes, but the eyes slightly gave them an odd expression to my mind. I am sorry, but I just had to show you more angels and more lights because they really set a lovely atmosphere and got me excited for decorating when we got home. I bought one of these souvenir candle holders as it matches the colours in our lounge, and I was very excited about it. The decoration on the stands was sometimes nutcrackers, sometimes angels, and sometimes gingerbread men. I told John it felt like I'd observed true Christmas magic when we saw real-life angels wandering round the market. I don't think either of us really knew what we were going to get when we ordered our food, but I ended up with a fairly typical hunk of meat, lamb in this case, in a white bun, and John went with a cabbage and spinach dish that had garlic potatoes under it. We ate both, no complaints. This is also the Christmas market that showed us both of us enjoy drinking hot aperol, and they called it Holy Aperoli. It was a really nice change to mulled wine.
Drum roll, please. Our favourite market was Heinzels Winter Market. Spread over 2 squares with a connecting street, this market truly has something for everybody. We visited on a couple of occasions, so you'll see both a mix of daylight and nighttime shots. The thing I really liked about this market, apart from the fact that every stall had its own known theme, was the variety of things going on. There was a chainsaw wood carver making stunning animal sculptures for sale. It was fascinating to see him transform the wood into his inner vision. There was even a blacksmith. Yes, they were only punching names onto pre-prepared steel blanks, but it was fun to watch. and we got a TLFR 2023 horseshoe as a memento. And there was music from harmonic singers, to a violinist, to a brass band. Both squares had numerous stalls selling a variety of wares, some of which we'd seen at other markets, and others we had not. But the centrepiece where we spent the most time was an elongated ice rink that ran the length of one of the squares. There was even an area for the German version of curling. This was a fantastic place to grab a flaming glühwein, find a place to stand, and then enjoy the skating, or watch the mini Zambezi machine resurface the ice. And whilst there weren't as many lights as the Angels Market, there were still some stunning displays. The food was also really good, and we enjoyed these potato fritters, crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle. So there you have it, our top 5 Cologne Christmas markets. Have you been? Do you agree? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this content, please give us a like and subscribe, or even a share. Now all we have to do is get home, but that proved trickier than planned.
Our return journey began by leaving Cologne and heading for Urmond in the Netherlands. It's about 102 kilometres, 63 miles, and took us an hour and 15 minutes. The Tesla supercharger is on the site of a Van der Valk hotel with the usual bar and restaurant facilities. The supercharger has 20 stalls available, and we put in 42 kilowatts and were stationary for 23 minutes. That's just long enough for coffee and a Danish pastry for breakfast.
As we headed further west, the weather began to improve, but we had another problem. A tyre pressure warning light had come on. Having had many slow punctures in this car, I always carry a pump, and it turned out we would need to top up the air every hour or so as we limped home. Both tyres would need replacing before the car's annual inspection in January, but that was scant comfort, as we worried if the speed of air loss would increase and we'd be stuck by the side of the road. Another delay of over an hour at Le Shuttle didn't help either. So fortunately the car tyre did make it all the way back from Germany, and whilst we haven't shown it, we did one more stop at Peace Pottage to pick up a bit more charge on our way back after going via my mum's to sort some stuff out for her. How was the trip for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've not been to a Christmas market like that before, and I think Cologne was a great place to start with variety.
It was, but did I find my Christmas spirit? That might still take some more work.
I mean, can you see any fairy lights and Christmas trees in our background?
Anyway, we wish you all the best festive season.
And a happy, healthy new year. Cheers!
Cheers. Thanks for your company. For those of you that enjoy the trip stats, don't worry, we haven't forgotten them. Over the 2 days, we did 760 miles, which is 1,223 kilometres. We used around 337 kilowatts of electricity and took 8 charges. Those charges took 3 hours and 21 minutes, but remember that a lot of the time we're not actually in the car, we're having a coffee and all those sorts of things while the car's charging. Our car gets free supercharging, as many of you know, so that cost us nothing. There's a link above if you don't understand why we get free charging, but I did pick up that £10 penalty for leaving the car after it had reached its charge limit. So yeah, there was a little bit of cost there. And it's beginning to look like the issue with the leaky tyre may be a bigger problem than we expected.